Maple Glen, Oregon. Population 4,207. A town where time moves slow and people still wave at each other from their porches. It's the kind of place where you feel safe, until something happens that reminds you safety is just an illusion. On October 3, 2023, Emily Hart, a 32-year-old nurse beloved by her patients and respected by her peers, vanished without a trace. No signs of struggle, no known enemies, no logical explanation, and what started as a small-town mystery would soon spiral into a chilling tale of secrets, obsession, and betrayal. Emily was the night shift nurse at St. Agnes Community Hospital. Known for her kindness, reliability, and soft-spoken warmth, she wasn't just a nurse. She was part of the town's fabric. So when she didn't show up for work one morning, her co-workers knew something was wrong. Emily was the kind of person who once came to work with a broken foot just to cover for a sick colleague. When officers arrived at her home, her car was in the driveway. The keys were still in the ignition. Her purse sat on the passenger seat. But Emily was gone, and that's when the theories began. At first, police believed it might have been a random abduction. Maybe she had been followed. Maybe it was someone passing through town. But the deeper they dug, the more they realized this was no random act. Emily had secrets, and one by one, they were about to surface. Investigators discovered Emily had ended a rocky relationship with Bryce Keller, a local EMT with a history of jealousy. Friends said he'd been trying to win her back, showing up at her job, leaving notes on her car. But Bryce had an alibi, and as shaky as it was, it held up for now. Then there was something else. Something hidden deep in her laptop under a folder labeled tax records, encrypted emails, hundreds of them. The sender? Dr. Andrew Leyton, a traveling cardiologist who had worked a temporary rotation at St. Agnes that summer. Married, 2 kids, 3 towns over. He told detectives the affair was short-lived, just a fling. But his wife told a different story. Emily had called her 2 weeks before she vanished. She said she was going to tell her everything. Just when investigators thought they had reached a dead end, a hiker made a grim discovery in the woods near Dead Man's Ridge, and what they found changed everything. Buried under a blanket of pine needles was the body of a woman. Dental records confirmed the worst. It was Emily, but it wasn't just what was on the body that cracked the case. It was what she had left behind. A torn scrap of paper, a gas station receipt, and a number. Just 4 characters. L92, partial license plate. And the car it traced back to? Not Bryce, not Dr. Leyton, but someone no one ever suspected. Someone Emily trusted. Who killed Emily Hart? What drove them to do it? And what did Emily discover in her final days that made her such a threat? Emily Hart had vanished without a trace. Now she had been found, dead and buried in the woods just outside Maple Glen. The community mourned. Her family was shattered. But police weren't finished. Because Emily hadn't just left behind a body, she left a clue. The torn receipt in her jacket pocket contained a partial license plate. L92, the number traced back to a 1999 green Chevy Tahoe, registered to none other than Linda Carlson, Emily's co-worker, closest friend, and on paper, the last person who should have had anything to do with her murder. Linda Carlson had been Emily's rock. They worked side by side for 5 years at St. Agnes, shared night shifts, weekly dinners, holidays. To most, they were inseparable, sisters by choice. But behind that friendship, something darker was brewing. Detectives brought Linda in for questioning. First, she was calm, cooperative, shocked even, but surveillance footage soon surfaced, grainy, time-stamped, showing Linda's Chevy Tahoe heading toward Dead Man's Ridge, the night Emily disappeared. When confronted, Linda cracked. "Linda, I didn't mean to hurt her. I just couldn't lose her." She claimed it wasn't planned. Emily had come over in a panic that night, saying she was going to report Dr. Leyton, that she was tired of secrets and being used. Linda snapped. Not out of hate, out of something worse, obsession. Linda was charged with second-degree murder and sentenced to 35 years in prison. Emily's family finally had answers. Her killer had confessed. The story should have ended there, but it didn't, because one detail didn't sit right with investigators. Emily's phone had pinged 10 miles south of where her body was found, 3 hours after Linda said she had killed her, meaning someone else had the phone after Emily died. Someone who was never accounted for. When forensic techs finally recovered the damaged SIM card, they discovered something chilling. A voice memo, recorded at 9:42 p.m. on the night Emily disappeared. The audio was muffled, brief, but clear enough to make out a single sentence. Emily's voice, frantic. "You said he wasn't going to be there. Why is he here, Linda? Why is he?" The recording ends in static. But now there was a new question. Who was he? Linda may have killed Emily, but she wasn't alone that night, and whoever was with them is still out there. Emily Hart was murdered by someone she trusted. Her best friend, Linda Carlson, confessed. And with that confession, the town of Maple Glen thought the nightmare was over. But then came the voice memo. Emily's last words, captured forever on her phone. "You said he wasn't going to be there. Why is he here, Linda? Why is he?" Emily's phone had traveled miles after she died. Someone had taken it. Someone Linda didn't name in her confession. And now detectives had to ask, was Linda covering for someone? The obvious suspect re-entered the frame. Dr. Andrew Leyton, the married cardiologist with whom Emily had had a secret affair. He told police he hadn't seen Emily in months, claimed the relationship ended peacefully, but new cell tower data proved otherwise. His phone had pinged off the same tower as Emily's just 1 hour before her death. And when detectives obtained his call logs, one number kept popping up the week before the murder. Linda Carlson's. They had been talking. A lot. But why would Emily's best friend be calling the man she was planning to expose? We believe Linda and Dr. Leyton were working together, at least, in the days leading up to Emily's death. What unfolded next would stun the entire town. Linda wasn't just obsessively in love with Emily. She was being manipulated. Detectives believe Dr. Leyton, desperate to keep his affair from being exposed, used Linda's feelings against her, planting fears that Emily was going to ruin all their lives, that she couldn't be trusted. Text messages later recovered from a deleted app showed Leyton encouraging Linda's paranoia. "She's dangerous now. You don't know what she's capable of. Protect yourself before she takes you down with her." Narrator somber. Linda may have delivered the final blow, but someone lit the match, and that match was Dr. Andrew Leyton. Leyton was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction, and tampering with evidence. Prosecutors allege that after Linda killed Emily, Leyton arrived at the scene, helped move her body, and disposed of her phone to mislead investigators. In his trial, he claimed he only came to help Linda think straight, that he never intended for Emily to be harmed. The jury didn't buy it. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Linda, already serving 35, gave a statement from prison. "He used me. I loved her. And he used me to kill her." Emily Hart's legacy lives on, not just in tragedy, but in the lives she touched. The hospital named a new domestic violence outreach center in her memory, and her family now speaks openly about emotional manipulation and coercive abuse, lessons hard learned through an unspeakable loss. In the end, Emily wasn't killed by a stranger. She was destroyed by the people she trusted most, by the friend who couldn't let her go, and the man who couldn't let her speak. But her voice still echoes in every whispered warning, every hidden red flag, every silent cry that someone finally heard.